friends. You have landed on the Mindful Making video channel. Here we talk about yarn, we talk about making, we talk about knitting in particular, and how that sense of the rhythmic movements with needles and yarn grounds us and sort of settles us in a very mindful way. So that's why it's called Mindful Making. My name is Jane. I'm a Danish Australian. I've lived in Sydney for now almost 11 years. And if you are new here on the channel, welcome. I'm delighted that you found your way here. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. You know what this is all about. Yes, it is about yarn and it is about knitting. I will also share a bit on sort of life stuff towards the end. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. If you're not, I will let you know when we transition from the creative part into the more life stories. As per usual, before we start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I am recording this video from. I am on Darug Ku-ring-gai land, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Welcome to episode number 53. Today it is Saturday, the 30th of September. It's been a while since the last video. I apologize for that, but there are reasons for a bit of a break, which I will talk more about towards the end. I hope you've had a lot of knitting done and enjoyed in the Northern Hemisphere late summer. I know that in Denmark you've experienced, I don't know whether you would call it an Indian summer, but warmer temperatures in September. And here in Australia we are well and truly into spring and basically into summer temperatures. So tomorrow they are forecasting 35, 33, 35 degrees Celsius here where I live. Yeah, fire warnings are up, so we have to take care. Hopefully there won't be any bushfires or anything this early in the season. But I actually went to the beach before sitting down with you here, so that's why my hair is a bit all over the place and just a mascara and a lipstick of makeup, so quite sort of simple and raw. And as you can see, I'm also not wearing any knits today. So that section of the podcast about what I'm wearing is very easy to deal with, so no knitting on today. You might, if you're a returning viewer, notice that I'm in a different room than I've recorded the last few podcasts. So I am in the downstairs extra bedroom, which is now the office, and I had the pleasure of rearranging my yarn stash, and you can see that over here. So I had a lot of fun just working through the colors and trying to arrange them so it looks pretty, and I am very happy with the results. It sort of gave me new inspiration for new projects, or the wish to start all the new things. I haven't actually, only a very tiny project that I will share a bit later. You can find me as Mindful Making everywhere. On the website, which is mindfulmaking.com.au, there are links to this channel. There is also links to my Instagram feed, Mindful Making, on Ravelry, I am mindfulmaking.AU. But the webpage, mindfulmaking.com.au, is the home for everything and sort of the umbrella where everything channels out from there. So check that out. You can also find my knitting patterns there, and I sell yarn as well in a beautiful color palette. So have a browse around to see if there's something you like. Yes, moving into knitting and finished objects. I will start with a tiny object that was just finished a few evenings ago. So I just have to find it. So I just had to find it. So here it is. A little sock. Isn't it cute? And why have I knitted a tiny little sock? Well, there's no grandchildren on the horizon, so it's not due to that. But I am teaching a sock workshop in April at a yarn festival, and I will put down below the festival's name so you can check it out, and it will also be linked on the show notes. And that reminds me, links to everything that I talk about is in the show notes, and there is a direct link down below so you can get to the show notes, who are actually stored on my website. But there is a link to them down below in the description box, so click that if you want to find more information about what I'm talking about, and links to pattern yarns, etc. So I am teaching a sock knitting workshop, and I thought that a tiny little sock would be doable in a 2.5-3 hour workshop, so teaching the heel flap and gusset method and the toe decrease on a DK way yarn. So this looks a bit odd with the that long ribbing leg, but here it is, and there is actually 2 tiny socks. Yeah, they were a lot of fun to knit. I'm looking forward for the when the grandchildren come, and I can start knitting small things for real. Yeah, so that's the first finished object. The yarn here is an old merino superwash I have in my stash. Held to double, so fingering weight held double becomes a DK weight. I can't remember the number of stitches, but it is knitted on a 3.5mm needle. Cute little project. Yeah. Tiny socks. Yeah. Staying with socks, because I have another pair of socks off the needles. I find that when I need a brain break and just an in-between project, socks are really good for me. I have knitted this pair of socks in a beautiful hand-dyed sock yarn from Louie and Lola. It was one of her yarn clubs, and I can't remember the name of that colorway, but it's similar to a few episodes back. I talked about another pair of socks. I called them Monet socks, and you know, I'm just apologizing now because this is just a very impromptu sitting down in front of the camera chatting to you, because I just longed to sit down and talk about something that I really enjoy. A few episodes back I talked about a pair of socks that I called Monet socks. And now I'm just, these look very much the same. And I'm just thinking whether it is a second skein of yarn that is in a similar tone of color, or whether it's actually the second half of that skein. I think it might be. So if you on the show notes search, or on my website search Monet socks in the blog section, you can find the episode where I talk about them. These socks are from the 52 weeks of socks, and let's see if I can easily find them, otherwise let's see. They are from here, and they could be called Celeste, maybe. I should of course have put in, here they are, Gerste socks. Gerste, it's Verena course. We've designed them, and it's a little slip stitch pattern on a reverse stockinette background, or actually on a pearl background. They were fun to knit. I liked them. They were toe up. I knitted for once, one at a time. And I am just looking here to see. I used a German short row heel here. In the pattern there is both, there's a heel flap and gusset description or pattern for that, and the German short row heel. Because I have the contrast color, I chose the German short row heel. The contrast color, this beautiful soft pink, is from, it's a mini skein from a advent calendar from Natural Fiber Arts. Yeah. These are size, I think, 39, and I just used all yarn left of this Yarn Club blue color here, so that, you know, when starting toe up, you get the foot length. I would have started them, I would have knitted them same time. They are knitted 2 at a time, because then I knew how much yarn I had left, and they would be equal size and equal length. So it is quite a short leg, and I think this is a 39. They look a bit long in the feet, but when you wear them, it sort of broadens out. I could possibly also show you, here is the instep, top of the foot. Like them? They will be put in the gift box, and I think I will start a new career. No, just I will be the sock auntie. So I've asked all the family members to send me their shoe sizes or sizes of their feet, so that I can knit them a pair of socks. possibly for Christmas. I do have a few in the drawer already. So that will go there. Very nice indeed. Last thing to say, a twisted ribbing on the cuff. Yeah, not more to say about those. I do love this. I do like this color combination of blue and the soft pink. So that's this, the second finished object. Well, the next object is almost finished, or it is at least, the knitting is done almost. Oh, I can just hear the disclaimers. I have worked on, in the last few episodes, you would have seen that I've worked on the eyelet sweater, which I would add a picture up here. It is a design by Line Holme Samsø, and it is published in her book called Heather Hill. I have been very much inspired by the picture and this white jumper, and I chose the same color. I have knitted eyelet with the combination of Holst Super Soft held together with Titicaca and alpaca. And here they are. This is, I think, what is left of ball number 4 of the Titicaca. I haven't calculated the meterage yet, but that is what I think is. This is ball number 4 and the size that I have knitted. So here we go. A jumper in pieces. So that's why I say it has been knitted, but I haven't put them together yet. I haven't washed or blocked them or woven in the ends. So 4 pieces. The front, and well, I have talked about these stitches before. It's called the blackberry stitch. I was about to say blueberry, but it's blackberry, and it's purl 3 together in every second row. Not my favorite, but I am now through. I'm done with those. And then the pattern has these beautiful cable details down the side of the body, and this is repeated on the back. And see, this looks like it's completely wonky and on an angle, but I think that's how these blackberry stitches run. And you see now the back. So let's just turn it around. So here again, the same cables and the blackberry stitches, and a slight decreases for armhole shaping. So that's the back. And here we have 2 sleeves. Same principle again, with those blackberry stitches in the middle and the cables on the side, and a bit of a, well, it's not a set-in sleeve, but it does have a sleeve cap here. So I'm actually looking very much forward to putting it together to see how it fits. It is quite a narrow sleeve, I think. But when I will block it, I will weave in the end, and then I will block it and stretch it out so that it becomes more even and easier to sew together. When I will sew it together, who knows? One day I will just have the calm, the patience, the persistence to sit and sew them all together, and also make the neckline, which will be folded double. But this is finished, and I will wear it in December, where I will be going back to Denmark for Christmas. So it comes in very handy for the European Danish winter weather. I just need to see if this is recording. Yes, it is. Yes, so I will put it in my suitcase going home for Christmas. Yeah, looking forward to that. Otherwise it would be sitting in the cupboard for a year, or until July, when we have temperatures here in Sydney that will be suitable for a jumper like this. But this was a well, it wasn't a massive project, but it did take time, and usually I enjoy, you know, the calming flow of just rhythmic stockinette stitches, but this had its own rhythm and comfort as well. Yeah, can highly recommend. So far, I will report back and you will see it when it's fully finished and sewn together. And well, I don't have enormous amount of time because it has to be finished mid-December, so I can wear it up north. Yes, that was the eyelet sweater by Line Holme Samsø, knitted in super soft, held together with Titicaca in the colorway bleached white for the super soft and écru for the Titicaca. What is on my needles? Well, it is something that you have seen before, and it has turned quite a lot bigger. Using this yarn, which is something that has a mysterious yarn that had been sitting in my stash for a very, very long time. It is this thick and thin yarn in a wool blend. This is what is left of the second comb. Yeah. And as you might have, if you've been here before, you know what I'm about to show you. It is the Poodle blanket. Here it is. Let me just see if I can. And of course the camera will blow out. This is just plain garter stitch, and because of that thick thin yarn, it gets this what I call poodle. Let's see if we can move back here. So it is quite large now. It is heavy, and I need to carry it like this as my little poodle baby. I wonder how many stitches I casted on, 180 or 280, can't remember. But anyway, I started this blanket when we went to watch the Women's World Cup in soccer. And yeah, I know it is a while back. We went to watch the game between Denmark and England in Sydney, and I started this blanket. I have this little progress keeper here to show how much was knitted while the soccer was on. So it is from this end here and then to this little marker. I brought the blanket to the games we watched live, and I also, when watching it the games at home, I knitted on this one. That was a great time here in Australia to watch women's soccer, and there was just a hype around it, and people were happy. I cheered on the Danish team until, well, not until, but we watched the first game that they had here in Sydney, where they met England, lost, or was it 1-1? I can't remember now. Or lost 2-1, can't remember. And then we got tickets to the Matildas and Denmark game. So Matildas is the Australian team. That was fun, you know, a sold out crowd, 75,000 people, 100 of those 75,000 were red shirts, so were Danes, or maybe if 200. There weren't many red shirts, I'm just saying. But what a cracker of a game, you know. The atmosphere was electric, and Australia won. And well, we had a great time. We cheered on the red and white throughout the game, and towards the end, when the Aussie team won, our sister team, we stepped over into their camp. So that was a lot of fun. You know, it was a win-win game. Both our countries would, well, either of our two countries would win. I did record some footage from when the World Cup was on, and soon you will just show a short little video that I put together for you. I also went to you know, a screening of the game. So I went to the quarterfinals with Australia and France in the middle of the city. Sat there, rolled out my little blanket and sat there knitting for 3 hours before, or 2 hours before the game started. Had people around me. There were 25,000 in that open space at Darling Harbour. So that was a great atmosphere again. And it was the longest penalty shootout in a World Cup game, and Australia won, and it was massive. It was absolutely massive. I wasn't there for the penalty shootout. I had to go to a concert, which was very nice, so I missed that cheer, but I secretly had my phone just sitting on my lap so I could just watch the penalties on silent, and apologies, but it was just when Australia scored. And then also on stage they announced that Matilda's won, and the audience just, yeah. Oh, that was a lot of fun. So I will take you back a month or more, back to the great days of Women's World Cup here in Australia. Many of you actually saw me and my children at the Denmark-Australia game, and I will just insert a photo here of how we looked when the game started, and this is a picture of when the game was over. Yeah. My daughter and son weren't happy. I started to cheer for the Matildas when the game was over. A lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Yes, that was the big blanket that I'm working on, as I call it, the Poodle throw, that one. No, the Poodle blanket that I'm working on. And then I just earlier today started on a new project. So it hasn't come very far. And apologies for the yarn mess. So basically you can't see anything, but this is a pair of socks turned the wrong way around. Here they are good. Yes, not easy to show, but this is starting off the cuff for a knitting 2 at a time, as I normally do, because then I know they would be the same and the same length, and I don't have to count rounds. I just start the skein from the outside, and from the inside. And yes, I need to twist and do a bit of yarn management throughout, but I find that worthwhile. The price for, you know, finishing 2 socks at a time. The yarn is an Avetta Classic, so a normal sock yarn. I will put down below the color number. It's a soft brown gray that I really like. Yeah. So that's the that's what's on the needles, and you might say, what pattern are you knitting? Yes, I am back in the 52 weeks of socks. Very nice to have a book that you just, you know, would, and then at least there is only 52 to choose from. Apart from, you know, if I went to Ravelry, there would be millions. But one moment and I will find it. These are the socks that I have started. They are called Stone, and it's this very pretty slip stitch pattern, crisscrossing across the foot and the leg. So I have only just started a few moments ago. Yeah, so you will for sure see that next time, and the designer is Tatiana Kulikova from the book 52 Weeks of Socks. The first one. I think there is a second one actually, isn't there? Is there? Maybe. Yeah, so that is what is going on the needles. And then I want to say thank you to all the Australian knitting sisters coming by and joining in on the Fiberfest, which was a yarn market that we had in the middle of August, was it? I can't remember the day. Everything just blurs together. But the Fiberfest, and I had a little stall with my yarn and my patterns, and many of you knitters, and I know some of you watches these videos as well, so hello again. It was so great to see you in person, and the wonderful chats and talks that we had, and thank you so much for supporting my little micro business. It was an absolute joy to be there, and thank you to Emina from Stitches and Swings on Instagram. She was my, I'm about to say co-host, but she helped in the stall and did a really good job. She is a very talented knitter as well, and she's very good at chatting to people. So we had an amazing day. So thank you for stopping by at the Fiberfest in Wyong earlier in the month, or in the past month. I can't remember. Sorry. but thank you for stopping by and for chatting and supporting my little venture here. Then while we are at the thank yous, I have a special thank you to Merete og Helle from De Løse Ender. These two wonderful ladies decided to run a knit-along with my designs. I am humbled, I am deeply touched by that gesture, and I thank you, Helle and Merete, from the bottom of my heart. It makes a huge difference for me that as many of you who follow their podcast, which is in Danish, that you have joined in on the knit-along. I will just put the hashtag underneath here for anybody to see and possibly use. I didn't know, so it was, I didn't know that they have decided to do that, and I'm just, I'm so grateful, so thank you so much. Kære Helle og Merete, tusind tak, fordi I valgte mine design til den her knit-along, og tusind tak til alle jer hjemme i Danmark, som nu strikker nogle af mine designs. Det er, jeg kan ikke beskrive med ord, hvor taknemmelig jeg er for den støtte, I viser mig gennem det her og gennem knit-along. Så tusind tak. Yes. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that 50 Fabulous again this October host a 24-hour knitathon. It happens next weekend, so the 7th and 8th of October. I think I will again put it down here. I question myself when saying that, but it's the next weekend and it starts 3 p.m. European time, so Central European time, which is, I think, past midnight here in Australia. I am joining in again this time around. I will be live, actual live, going live. Sydney time, it will be 8 a.m. nice, bright and early Sunday morning. So if you are around here, have your coffee ready and sit and knit with me during your early morning. In Europe, in Copenhagen, it will be, or in Denmark, Central Europe time, it will be 11 p.m. and then it will be earlier in the States. And I hope that you, if you are from, North America, the States, please join in as well. 24 hours where there are different podcasters from around the world going live, or a pre-recorded episode that are dedicated to the knitathon. So basically you can sit and knit for the 24 hours and would be entertained by different podcasters each hour. I hope you will join me, and I hope to see many of you on the live, the Mindful Making live during the knitathon, and it's 8 o'clock Sunday morning, 8th of October, Sydney time, 11 p.m. 7th of October, Copenhagen, Central Europe, and earlier in the day in the States on the Saturday. So I hope to see many of you. You can find all the details on the knitathon and the schedule of presentations and podcasts during the 24 hours. You can find them on 50 Fabulous homepage, and that is linked in the show notes below as well. that brings us to the end of the creative yarny content. And if that's what you were here for and not interested in the more sort of philosophical live chat that I will embark on shortly, thank you for being here. Please give this video a thumbs up, write a comment, subscribe. That helps the channel, and it helps that, you know, to get the interaction going. And I love the community that we have built around our passion for crafting and for making. I hope to see you again next time, and I will just insert a little palette cleanser of a short little bush walk that I was on a few weekends back. I hope you enjoyed that little walk in nature. I do enjoy these weekend walks. I don't walk every weekend, but I really enjoy when I do get out and just experience the sounds, the smells, the greens, the just breathing in the fresh air and breathing in nature. It's healing. Yeah, life is challenging, as you would probably know and have seen. The yarn room is, or we have, so this rearrangement of the yarn room is because our beautiful house is now on the market. That hurts my heart, and I am trying to get used to the thought of living in a much smaller place by myself. So it is a really, really tough gig, and I have not been recording videos because my mental health and emotional health has suffered hugely, especially during the, you know, when it gets sort of real that yes, we are selling the house. It's a beautiful home, and I have to find somewhere else that where I will start the next chapter of my life. So I'm slowly turning my head towards the future, but I'm still holding on and grieving the past, the loss of the past. Not the loss of the past is there, but the loss of the life that I thought I should have. But anyway, so during these last 6 weeks since we last spoke, my emotional health is very challenged, and I have suffered a lot of anxiety and also depression, but a lot of anxiety. So it's hard for me to get up in the morning. I have to mobilize and and just looking after, and I'm just touching here because that's where the alarm sits, and that's what I've learned, with anxiety, that anxiety is not necessarily a mind game, it's in the body. So it is triggered by, younger versions of ourselves who experience something similar, and then the alarm, as a younger version of ourselves, as a child, we cannot process a dangerous situation or what was experienced as dangerous. So that grief or that anxiety gets stuck in the body, and I have just had that come up a lot. And but I have found a podcast, and that I have really, it's been very beneficial for me to listen to. There is also a book which I haven't read. For me, the podcasts have been plenty, and it's called Anxiety R, as an R, X. I'll write it below. And it's a guy called Russell Kennedy, a previous MD, or he is an MD but not practicing anymore, talking about the younger self that sits inside and is afraid, and that can be triggered, and then the mind, as it is this sense-making, meaning-making machine, it's okay, my body feels there's something happening here, what is going on? So it starts reasoning and worrying, and then that builds on that body sensation, and it's just a negative spiral. So that is my work for now, and just to heal and find myself again. It will take time. I will be better. I am getting better. And talking to you guys and just immersing in this beautiful community that we have is soul healing, and it's healing for the little Jane that sits in here, and she takes over. I know it sounds woo-woo, but it isn't. And I think that you can relate to, a younger person. So little Jane sits in here, so I give her a lot of attention, so she feels seen, heard, loved, and protected. That's basically what our younger selves needs, and I try to do that. So it's a process, but I am getting better, and I love talking to you. It's so good. Well, now talking about myself again, but I can just feel that connecting with knitting and connecting with you guys and connecting with talking to you and not hide away, that's good for me. So thank you. Time is now almost 6 p.m. so the light it's getting moving into dusk. Tomorrow will be daylight savings, so we will have longer evenings, or light for longer. But for now, thank you so much for being here with me. I truly value your company and that you're tuning in. I love knitting with you. I hope to see you again on the screen, or maybe sometime in real life. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.